The morning the father bear walked out of the tree line, something in the forest felt off. Mist rolled low across Cades Cove like slow-moving smoke. The ridges of the Smoky Mountains stood dark and layered against a pale sky. It was the kind of quiet that presses against your ears. Even the birds had not started singing. Black bears in these mountains avoid humans. Every overlook carries the same warning in bold letters: do not approach wildlife. But that morning one bear approached, and he did not come alone. 3 days earlier, hikers had reported a small black bear cub near Abrams Creek. He was unusually thin, his fur still glossy, but his body smaller than it should have been for late summer. He was not foraging, not climbing, not wrestling in the grass. He was sitting, just sitting and staring ahead. Ranger Daniel Hayes had worked in the park for 12 years. He had seen injured bears, orphaned cubs, and mothers defending territory. He knew the look of weakness. This cub was fading. The unusual part was not the sickness. It was the father. Male black bears rarely stay with their cubs. They are solitary by instinct. Yet this one shadowed the little bear constantly. He slept within sight. He followed every slow movement. He watched. The cub would later be called Ash. Ash could not swallow. Through long-range lenses, rangers observed him paw at ripe blackberries, lift them to his mouth, then jerk back, gagging. He tried chewing soft leaves only to spit them out. Even when he bent to drink from Abrams Creek, he pulled away as if the water burned. By the second night, he could not climb even a fallen log. His energy was draining, and the father was watching all of it. At sunrise on the third morning, tourists lined the Cades Cove Loop Road cameras, ready children whispering excitement in the air. Then the tree line shifted. A large male black bear stepped out of the fog. Gasps spread instantly. Phones lifted. Someone whispered, "Oh my God." But the bear did not charge. He did not bluff. He walked forward slowly with measured steps. Behind him, Ash stumbled into view. The cub's legs trembled. His head hung low. The father stopped roughly 60 yards from the road. Then he rose onto his hind legs. Tall, balanced, still, not aggressive. He extended one paw forward, not swiping. Reaching, he lowered himself, walked back to Ash, nudged him gently, and turned his head toward the humans. Again he stood, paw forward, back to the cub, nudge. Look, the sequence repeated, not random, intentional. Hayes felt a chill crawl up his spine. He is trying to show us something. But what? What no one standing there understood was that 6 days earlier, Cub's mother had found an illegal food pile behind a campground. Dumpster scraps, moldy bread, plastic. Soaked in syrup, she had eaten first. Within hours, she had grown sick. She wandered deeper into the forest and never returned. Ash had eaten too. The father had not. And somewhere in those scraps, the cub swallowed a hardened sliver of plastic. It lodged in his upper throat. Every attempt to eat tore against it. Every swallow was pain. Every hour without food weakened him further. The father had watched his cub try and fail. Watched him gag. Watched him grow quiet. And somehow he connected a pattern. Sometimes the strange upright creatures in green uniforms took injured animals away, and sometimes they brought them back. The father stepped closer. The crowd froze completely. A woman near the fence began to cry softly. The bear opened his mouth and released a deep, low huff. It was not a warning. It was distress. Then he tapped the ground twice, tapped the cub's shoulder, tapped the ground again. Ash tried to step forward. His legs gave out. He collapsed into the grass. A ripple of shock moved through the people. The father moved instantly. He gently lifted the cub by the scruff and carried him several steps closer to the roadside, closer to the humans. Then he backed away, 1 step, 2, 5. He sat down and waited. No pacing, no growling, no bluff charge, just watching. Breaking wildlife protocol could cost careers. Approaching a wild male bear was dangerous, but doing nothing felt worse. Hayes radioed for emergency veterinary support from the wildlife rehabilitation partner near Townsend, his voice steady but tight. Minutes felt stretched thin. The father never left. Each time Ash whimpered, the father looked toward the rangers, not with anger, with expectation, as if this was the final option. When Hayes stepped forward, the father rose again, every muscle in the crowd locked. But instead of charging, the bear shifted sideways, clearing space. Deliberate, measured. Permission. The cub was sedated quickly. The father circled once but did not interfere. As the crate door swung down, he stepped forward and placed his paw lightly against the metal edge. For a brief second, everything froze. Then he pulled back and retreated into the trees. At the wildlife medical facility outside Townsend, the X-ray revealed the truth. A sharp shard of plastic embedded in the upper esophagus. Another 48 hours and infection would have taken him. Surgery lasted just under an hour. When the fragment was removed, it carried the sour smell of rotting human food, trash. Once again, the father did not disappear. Trail cameras near Abrams Creek recorded him returning to the same clearing that night, and the next, and the next. He would sit facing the direction where the vehicle had taken his cub. He was not hunting, not roaming, waiting. 10 days later, Ash was strong enough to climb. He could swallow. He could growl. He had gained weight. Before dawn, rangers transported him back. The forest looked the same. Mist curling through the trees, cold air pressing against the skin. They opened the crate. Ash stepped out. He wobbled once, then steadied himself. He sniffed the air deeply, paused. From the tree line, a dark shape emerged. The father. He walked forward slowly, no aggression in his stride. Ash made a small chirping sound. The father answered with a soft huff. They closed the distance and touched noses. It lasted only seconds, but it carried something heavier than instinct. No one spoke. Even the wind seemed to still. Before disappearing back into the forest, the father turned once toward the rangers. He rose onto his hind legs, not reaching this time, just looking. Then he lowered himself and vanished into the Appalachian green, with Ash close behind. No one can prove what he understood. No one can translate the taps or the waiting. And in one fragile moment in the Smoky Mountains, a wild animal chose trust over fear. And because of that choice, a cub named Ash is still alive.